Welcome to another sacred conversation. Sometimes we spend so much time praying for restorance that we never considered whether God is asking us to accept an ending. That's hard because in the process of me going through my own transition right now, that is sometimes the hardest thing for a human to do is to ask that question, why is it ending? I built it. I have put time into it, years. I put my heart, I put my sweat, I put my soul, I put everything on the line for it. But what happens if he says, this is the end? The first thing we do is pray, God, bring that back. Because I didn't ask for it to be over. Not on your time, but on my time, right? Like bring it back. Fix this relationship. I'm just going to raise my own hand. Fix it right now, Lord. Right? It's like, fix it right now, Lord. Um, and the thing that we haven't stopped to say, okay, stop asking God to restore what He's already removed. I'm gonna say it again. This episode is about stop asking God to restore what He's already removed. Yeah, y'all know how we do. God, I really need this. I really do, because you don't know this is the bestest thing I've ever had in my whole life. Like, please, 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 like, and we begging, and he was like, "But wait a minute. Just the other day, you was complaining about it. You were saying that she ain't holding her weight, and he ain't acting right, and why don't you find me something better? And I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move from this state and move somewhere else, Lord. Show me the road." And as soon as he do that, what's the first thing we do? We say, "Oh, wait a minute. Bring that back. No, 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 no. I didn't mean to end a relationship now. I want it done on my time. Give me that opportunity again. Let things go back to way." Come on, come on. Who have said that? Let things go back how they used to be. Because my mom was great for saying this. She said, like, I wish for the good old days. I wish things, and trust me, y'all, when I tell y'all, like, I was born in an era. Well, gas was, okay, 50 cents at one time. That just show you how old I am. Young and old, okay? 50 cents, a dollar and 50. $5 can really, really fill your car, and you can drive for the whole week off of $5. Okay, you can go in your seat cushions and find money to put gas in your car back in the day, right? But this conversation is not about you being uncomfortable. This is one of those questions I really want you to think about, right? Because as a clarity coach, I'm always asking the right question. I feel that if we ask the right question, some of our confusion will stop if we just ask the right question. And what if going back isn't God's answer? Was because again, I'm just gonna raise my hand because I can only speak about me. What if going back is going backwards? Is going back to something that you have outgrown? It's going back to something that is too comfortable, too familiar. It doesn't allow you to grow. It doesn't allow you to expand. Right? You are now this guppy trapped in this fishbowl. When in reality, he told you to go and get into the ocean so you can continue to grow bigger because of the confinement of the containment that you're in. And we have to be careful there, because we're not teaching that every loss is something that God is deliberately moved. What we're teaching about our tendency to romanticize what is behind us simply because what's ahead of us is unfamiliar. And I'm gonna say that real slow, because I'm one of those, like, I'm gonna say some things. I like it where my people are standing at the bus stop. So you're gonna hear me say, "Come on, get on the bus," right? So right now, everybody's standing at the bus stop, waiting on the bus to show up. So now the bus don't show it up, and you about to get on the bus, because I'm gonna go real slow with that last one. We're talking about our tendency to romanticize what is behind us simply because it's what's ahead of us is unfamiliar. And how often do we do that? I think like we do that plenty of times. Because as soon as that thing that you asked for, and trust me, I know I'm walking through it, because it's so easy to do, like the back of your hand. And the thing that you say that you want to do now is like, oh, that man, I got to do this thing for real, for real. That's even with, I don't see the money yet. That's even when I haven't booked a deal yet. That's even when, there's no speaking yet, there's no books yet, there's no digital products yet. But this is what you prayed for. This is what you asked for. But here's the thing, you want it on your time. And he said, no, 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 no. That's not how that works. You said you want it. Okay. Here's what we're going to get into the nitty gritty. Catch them immediately. Right? I want you to catch this immediately. Catch it. Right? Because something like, can I ask you a question? Because I love asking questions. What are you still asking God to give back that maybe you need to finally release? What are you asking God to give back that you finally, that you need to release, right? A friendship. Y'all know we can like go down the list, right? Friendship, job, opportunity, maybe even an old version of yourself. Because sometimes we're asking God to restore something simply because we haven't accepted that season is over. Let me say, because now y'all gonna start stepping on the bus with me. We like, hey, wait a minute. Did you ask me if I was ready to release that? Because that's how we talk sometimes. Did you CC me in on that decision, God, that you made, that you want me to release that right now? Now, even though he told you 6 months ago, a year ago, 12 months ago, that season was about to be over, and yet and still you did not get the hint. I'm just going to raise my hand, right? I'm not stuck. Because he gave you signs that season was over with. Now, if that bothered you a little bit, don't leave. You don't even have to pull up a chair today. You can't stand around the table. But let's talk about it, because I'm all about bring your own chair to this table. And even if you don't bring your own chair, you can stand around the table and you can listen in on the conversation, because that's what this channel is all about. It's just having a conversation. Here's where you explore. Here's where here's where we are going to go real deep into it. Familiarity doesn't necessarily mean good. Sometimes we don't want something back because it was healthy. We want it back because we know how function it was. Come on, y'all. Now I don't know about y'all, but for sure. Some things I could do like the back of my hand. I can close my eyes. I could chew chewing gum. I could pat my stomach all at the same time, because I've done it for so long that it's so easy for me. Here's why: because I got the reps in. I got the receipts for it. I've been doing it for so long that it's. If you ask me, like, okay, I can answer. I can do it. I can show up, right? Sometimes we want to keep doing it because we want it to be healthy, even though it's bad for us. Like, prime example, we can get um, a sugar-free candy talking about, oh, well, this healthy. It ain't got sugar in it. But at the end of the day, it's still a piece of candy. They may have replaced it with something else, but it still has some type of artificial something in it. But to justify forgetting the candy, was like, oh, it got 2% sugar in it, or it says sugar free. Okay. But it had to replace it for something for it to taste good for you to go back and buy it. So there's comfort in familiarity dysfunction. There's comfort in a job we've outgrown. There's comfort in relationships where we've learned everybody's role. And I'm gonna say it again because now we just, like everybody sit down now. It's comfortable in familiarity of dysfunction because it is. When we have lived in dysfunction, it's just was just accustomed to it. Whatever your dysfunction is, you have become so comfortable in it that it doesn't even phase you. The comfort in a job that you have outgrown. And a lot of us have done that. We've outgrown something, but yet still we show up and we already know what the meeting gonna be about. We know the same people that's gonna come in late. We know the same people that's gonna leave early. We're gonna know the same people that are gonna take an extra lunch break. We know the same passcode to every computer. Before they even sit down good, you've already done your work because you do the same repetition all day long. There's even comfort in the old version of ourselves. Trust me, I know. It's comfortable now. Because here's why. I don't have to change. I don't have to evolve. I can just stay the same. And even though I know I need to change, it's easy for me to say, oh, that's just who I am. Because that's that's an easy word for us to say. Oh, I was just like that. But in reality, we all can change. We all can grow. Sometimes we're not grieving because something was good. We are grieving because it's familiar. That's it. We go. It's familiar. I'm familiar acting that way, talking that way, moving that way, working that way. It's easy. It doesn't require any effort. Mm. I've lived through a season where things have been so familiar for me that it has become bored, per se. And I'm sure some of you have lived through that. It was like, it got to be more than just this. I got more inside of me. And then, like, you find yourself working on that thing that's just boiling up inside you because what you currently are doing. Now, I'm not saying that you don't like it because you do. You've been doing it for so long. But now you realize you got other talent, other skill set inside of you that you find yourself working on it, even on the side. I find myself coaching even when I'm not coaching, right? I find myself teaching even when I'm not teaching. Because if somebody to say something like, ooh, I'm like, call me, call me, call me, right? And then I'm like, hey, queen. It's like, I never thought of it. And you find yourself just doing things that you was like, well, why am I not doing this? Talking about a season that you desperately want to return to. Think about that. What season keep knocking on your door? because the past will always keep knocking on your door. Familiarity will move in next door and bring you sugar. because it's so familiar with your ways that they know that you're going to start, but you're going to stop. They know you're going to start and say, oh, this is not working. That's how comfortable it has become. And when that happens, do we vacate? Do we leave the area? No, no, we stay. We invite familiarity in. We invite compromise in. We invite them to take a seat, put their feet up on the coffee table, go in our refrigerator, make themselves a sandwich. That is what it's like when you're so familiar, so comfortable in your setting, so comfortable in your way, so comfortable in your life, so comfortable in everything that you do. You eat at the same restaurant, you go the same way to work, you go to the same hangouts, you hang out with the same friends. Why? Because it doesn't require you to even have to think about it. It doesn't call you have to do anything really. It it just says, hey, I know you, I know your ways, and I like it. Just because I understand it different today doesn't mean it doesn't hurt when it happens. Because change is going to happen with or without you. I'll say it again. Maybe you can now appreciate why something in it and still admire that losing it hurt. Because here's what I found out. We don't want to call a thing a thing. We don't want to call it out. And for me over the past few weeks, I've had to say, yeah, that hurts. Yeah, that's uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't like that. I wasn't prepared for that the way that I wanted to be prepared. But here's the thing. The mature faith thing in me said, just because I understand doesn't mean it didn't hurt when it happened. Because that's what the reality of it is. We want to push it down and say, oh, that didn't bother me. Oh, yeah, it did. It did. It bothered you when that opportunity went to somebody else. It bothered you when that job ended, that relationship ended, that friendship ended. It bothered you. But here's the thing. I feel like when you call it out, you take its power. And when I say take its power away, now you can sit with and say, yes, it hurt. Here's why it hurt. Because I'm that one like, okay, I'm not gonna say, oh, that's hurt and that's it. No, I'm like, okay, well, why did that hurt? Well, it hurt because I wasn't prepared for it to end so suddenly. I wasn't prepared financially. I wasn't prepared emotionally. Yes, I knew it was coming, but I wanted it done on my terms and my way. And when I do that, then that's when I take the power away. It's like, okay, it did hurt. Now, what are you planning on doing about it? How are you going to move going forward? And that's how you now take your power. That's how you take your power back and not allow your emotions to drive your car. You put that thing in the trunk. Now, it may try to climb over the seat, try to get back in, but it's definitely not driving your emotional car. Are you praying for restorance or are you resisting transition? Because those are two different things. Trust me, I know. Are you praying for restorance or are you resisting transition? Maybe God isn't withholding something from you. Maybe life has changed. And life is changing constantly fast in front of our eyes. We all see that. Maybe the opportunity serves its purpose. Maybe the job serves its purpose. The relationship serves its purpose. Opportunity serves its purpose. Maybe the woman or the man that you were 5 years ago cannot come. They can't ride on the bus with you. They can't sit at your table. They can't come by and bring you no sugar in the life that you're building right now. And that is true. We will build a brand new life for ourselves and still be trying to drag old people into our new life when it's not their season. Their season is up. It wasn't meant for them to come along with you. Now you can still be friends, but the way that you're moving and shaking right now, it was not meant for them to come along. And this is where perspective enters. An end doesn't automatically mean something went wrong. Sometimes something can be completely without being a failure. That's important. A marriage end and still have produced lessons. A career can end after decades of meaningful work. A friendship can have been genuine for a season without lasting forever. A chapter ending doesn't erase the chapter. I've never seen a person read a book and then say, oh, I'm just going to throw away the book because that chapter ended. No, you ain't read the other 10 chapters in the book. That was just, you just read the first 2 chapters. But also you throwing that book away. No, you stick with the story. You keep reading to the very end. I would like to anchor this conversation with this. Isaiah 43:18 and 19. The passage tells God's people not to dwell on former things because he is doing a new thing. He's always doing a new thing. He's always doing a new thing. Come on. Because we be dwelling on like, okay, so what's God doing right now? And you still on chapter 5 and he done moved on to chapter 20. Because along the way, he's been showing you he's doing a new thing. Because new sounds wonderful when you're reading it. New feels very different when you're living it. New doesn't have a history yet, and new doesn't have a guarantee. Trust me, I know this for sure. New requires trust. New can make you question whether leaving familiar territory was the right decision. Because you're like, okay, I'm going to start this business. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to get in this relationship. I'm going to do this opportunity. I'm going to step out here on faith. But new can make you question whether leaving familiar territory, because you want to step out in new territory, was the right decision. Then, maybe the problem isn't God, isn't doing something new. Maybe I'm so busy staring at what used to be, I can't recognize what's beginning. Say it again. I'm so used to looking in the rearview mirror that I can't see what's in front of me. I'm so busy looking at my past, I can't see my future. I'm so busy thinking about what was that I'm not thinking about what can be. Let's all take a breath on that because we riding hard on this bus. You don't have to hate the old season that you're living, and you don't have to pretend that it doesn't matter because we do. Like, I don't care. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You don't have to call everything toxin because it's not. You don't have to make somebody, anybody, a villain just because they aren't coming with you. Because a lot of them don't need to come with you because their mind ain't right. Their finances ain't right. Their heart is not right. Their motives are not right. So they don't need to come along with you anyway. You can just simply say that matter and now it's finished. It's done. It don't have to be. It's like saying no, right? No is a complete sentence. It doesn't need an explanation. It doesn't need, to have that. No. No means no. And you keep it moving. That's it. No is no. And you keep it moving. Because sometimes closure isn't getting an explanation. Closure is accepting the reality. And that's the hard thing for us, especially us women, because like, I want to know why we broke up. I want to know why it's not working. I want to know, what did I do? And men sometimes say the same thing. Baby, but I did everything like you wanted me to do. I called you, I texted you, I sent you flowers, I took you out to eat. And we always want closure because in that way we can say, oh, the reason it ended, the reason it did not work out with that job or with that situation, that opportunity, because then now it fixing this box in our mind. And if we don't have closure, there's just this little feeling or this little thing that just keep eating us at it because we're like, I don't know what happened. I need to know. that's like watching a good movie. You like, no, I gotta finish out this series because I gotta know what happened at the end. That's the way closure is. We gotta have it. One decision. We're keeping our promises. No 7-step assignment. One question. What am I trying to resurrect that I need to release? Don't answer this quickly. I want you to think about this. I want you to write this in your journal. I want you to write this on your phone. I want you to write it in your notes. What am I trying to resurrect that I need to release? Sit with it. Pray about it. Be honest about it. Because if you're constantly reaching backwards, you don't have both hands available for what's next. Ooh, now that right there gonna sit with somebody. That's for somebody tonight. Because if you're constantly reaching backwards, you don't have both hands available for what's next. And maybe today isn't about getting something back. Maybe today is about thanking God for what it was and what you need to grieve, taking the wisdom with you and giving yourself permission to move forward. Give yourself permission to move forward. And if you're not ready yet, that's okay. Stand around the table for a while, and we're not going to push you here, but we're going to keep telling the truth here. Keep it coming. Your next decision matters more than your last mistake. And there's always seat for you at the table. There's always seat here. So bring your chair. The coffee is hot and the tea is steeping. I'll see you next time on the next episode. Hope has its purpose.